to Adventure Stories ASMR!
Hello everybody and welcome to Spooky Season. Today we have a very special video for you. It's a short one, but I think it's one that really fits with the theme of being spooky and scary. I will be telling the tale of everything that's been going on in my house. Because you see, the house that I'm living in right now is haunted. And there's been quite a few things that have happened in the last 5 or 6 years that I just can't explain. And I also will be joined by my girlfriend Cassie because she's also seen a few things since she's been here. In fact, about the time that she started living with us, things have been kicking off again. So anyway, without further ado, my house. Now, about 6 years ago, we were looking for a house, a place to live. And this house was the perfect thing for us. It was 4 bedrooms, really nice and furnished. It had a fireplace, and a lot of land. And it was well trimmed and beautiful, and it was just exactly what we wanted. So we moved in. But the very night that we slept downstairs in the basement, which was a finished basement, by the way, with carpeting and everything, it just felt eerie. Like we weren't really alone. I mean, yeah, obviously I was with my brothers, and we were kind of sleeping in a triangle formation in the big rec room downstairs, but it just felt like there was someone standing in the doorway leading further into the basement, because the basement's on multiple levels. There's the rec room on the bottom, and then it goes up about 3 steps and goes into a hallway, which then leads into several more rooms. And it was that hallway that I felt like there was someone standing there. And I thought, you know, new house, it's just my imagination. I'm really nervous about the new place. Every little creak and groan makes you think that it's something and it isn't. So I just passed it off as my imagination. But the moment that we decided to set up our actual bedrooms, John went upstairs and my other brother went on the first floor, and I stayed in the basement. My brother on the upstairs, we'll call him John, kept complaining of noise. You know, he kept hearing people going up and down his stairs, so I just thought he was kidding. So one night, I went up there in his bedroom, and I just hung out with him. I played video games and stuff like that for about 3 or 4 hours. And about 2 hours into our playtime, I distinctly heard the sound of boots. Heavy workman's boots going up the stairs. About 5 or 6 steps, and just as it's about to reach the landing where the second floor begins, it stopped. It just stopped dead. And it was clear as crystal. I thought Mom or one of my other brothers had come up the stairs in some boots or something. But as soon as I opened the door, pitch black. There was absolutely nothing there. And I looked down the steps. Mom's asleep. Nobody there. And that's when John smiled, and it proved that there really was something coming up the stairs. And we told that to the family, and they got a little freaked out by it, but nothing too bad. Well, fast forward a few years, I'm still down in the basement, and I'm having trouble sleeping. I just can't sleep down there. I can never seem to stay asleep for very long, or it's hard for me to sleep. And I always kept feeling like there was someone standing over me every time I would face the wall. There'd be someone by the door looking at me. And I thought I was paranoid. I thought it was just worry or whatever, but no, there was something there. And that room would always get really cold. And again, I thought it was because it was the basement, but no, it's way more to it than that. There was spirits down there. And that's when we noticed that there actually is the old foundation of the old farmhouse down there. You'll see wood of the new house, and then you'll walk a few feet, and then you'll see this big old stone wall, like Civil War era stone wall down there, and it literally expands the entire wall of the room on the right-hand side of the house, and then it also slowly goes towards the middle of the basement, and then it just ends. And we never could figure out why it did that, because it looks like it should continue to go on. Like, it should be a square. It shouldn't be like a staple shape with one of the walls missing. And that's when we realized, no, there's nothing missing. It's just, it actually goes into the sidewalk. It actually juts out from the rest of the house. So they use part of the original foundation as like a base to start with, and then they actually built out further from that for the rest of the house. So there's obviously something attached to our old foundation. Then, about a year later, after the flood came, because a large flood happened in our basement to the point where it was about maybe 4 or 5 inches of water all over the place, and mold started growing, and I just couldn't sleep down there anymore. I moved upstairs, and I remember distinctly I was really tired, and I think I had to use the bathroom or something in the middle of the night, and I cracked one of my eyes open, and I saw something white going right by me, like 3 feet in front of me, very, very close. But it didn't register what it was until it had completely exited my vision. And it wasn't fast either. It was a nice slow walk. Walk, 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 walk. It was not fast or brisk. It was very slow and deliberate steps. And when I realized what it was, I freaked the hell out, because it was the dress of a Victorian era or Civil War era woman walking right behind me. And it was partially see-through, but it was actually very opaque, which I thought was very strange, because usually when you think of ghosts, you think of them being see-through. You can see right through them. But for some reason, this particular apparition, this ghost, was almost not see-through at all. It was very vivid. And that freaked me the hell out. And I remember another time, again, about a year later or so, I was upstairs with my brother again, and we distinctly heard the sounds of screaming, just blood-curdling screaming. We didn't know if it was one of the next-door neighbors or even further down, and they were having a domestic dispute. We could never figure it out, but it just sounded so eerie. Because we couldn't exactly find where it was coming from. We thought it was generally in the direction of the west side of the house, but we couldn't pinpoint where it was coming from, just in that general area, and it would chill you to the bone every time you would just hear that scream, as it would just echo all across the forest and the property. And we hoped it wasn't anything malevolent or evil, but you never know. And then we come to modern time. So my girlfriend, Cassie Baby ASMR, moved into our house. And not too long after that, we had some strange things starting to happen. I would start to hear things down in the basement again. And I had a very terrifying run-in with a ghost. This was probably the most terrifying yet. So I was downstairs putting in our laundry, and I closed the dryer, okay? And the thing about the basement is there's actually a giant hole in the ground that's supposed to be like a sub pump or something. And if you step on it, you can actually fall through. There's not that much holding it in there, and so a person of my weight and size would easily just fall right in there. So I have to bend really awkwardly over to get into the dryer, but I did it. And as I'm going back up into a straight standing position, I glance over to the left, and I thought I saw something, and then I actually turn my full head to the left, and I see these legs, these white legs standing in my old room. And it went up to about the waist height of a person. And just as you get to the waist, nothing. Absolutely nothing. So it was from the foot to about where the waist started of a girl. And it was about maybe 2.5 feet tall. And she had like a short dress on, not like a long one, but a short one that went down to maybe her knees. And she was just standing there. She wasn't moving or anything. It was just dead silent and dead still. But still, just seeing those legs there just freaked me out. I was terrified. Next thing I know, I'm already 5 steps up from the basement, and I must have skipped steps because I was huffing and puffing like I was running the marathon. I get upstairs, I close the door, and Cassie and my brothers are looking at me like, what's wrong? You know, what's the matter? And I said, I just saw a ghost. It was very scary. I know that she probably didn't mean to scare me necessarily, because there were some troubles going on. My younger brother, John, was in the hospital for potentially heart problems. So maybe that she was trying to reassure me that my brother was fine. But it was just the way that the legs were. They weren't supposed to be there. And I was not expecting it at all. Like, just completely not expecting it. And they were just right there within about 3 or 4 feet of me. And I just couldn't take it. I ran the hell out of there. And then another tale that happened even more recently is that I was downstairs in the technically first floor. And I was getting some food with my girlfriend, Cassie. And I got to the door that leads up to the upstairs to the second floor, where we live. And I kind of glance left, and I see something white just peek by, heading towards the patio outside. And I didn't know quite what to make of it, because it was... I saw the last maybe second of it. But I looked over at my girlfriend, and she had a completely different story of what she saw.
Alright, so Adventure and I had gone down to the kitchen. It was pretty late at night. We were looking for a snack or whatnot, so we had gotten our snacks made up. I think it was some ice cream that time. And we were heading back towards the stairs to go upstairs. Well, the second Adventure turned the light off in the kitchen, that's when I came face to face with a full body apparition of an older woman wearing a long, old-fashioned white housewife gown dress from the war period. And it was only for a split second, but it was the most vivid thing I had ever seen. It was there, she was staring at us, she had this warm smile on her face, and then she turned and she walked towards the patio. And I think that was when Adventure had looked back and he saw her walking away. But I had seen her standing there, smiling at us as we left. So I turned to him and I just have this look on my face like, did you just see what I just saw?
Yeah, I just saw what you just saw.
So we booked it back up those stairs and hid out in our room for the remainder of that night. But something Adventure forgot to tell you that happened on the same night he saw the little ghost girl's legs in the basement. As soon as he came back upstairs and was telling his brother and myself about what he had seen, we're sitting on the couch downstairs in the living room, and suddenly we hear banging. Lots and lots of banging.
I forgot about that.
Coming from the basement. So at that point, the three of us were now quite spooked and we all ran upstairs. Because we didn't want to be anywhere near the basement at that time.
Yeah, the activity seems to be coming or emanating from the basement where the old foundation of the original farmhouse is. And even just the other night, literally 2 nights ago, I turned off the light here, completely turned off the light, and it was pitch black. You couldn't even see your hand in front of your face. It was that black. Because my girlfriend Cassie likes to sleep in the dark, whereas I like to sleep with the light on for obvious reasons. Well, sure enough, she remembers seeing a light on the wall, as do I, of something, and we couldn't quite explain what it was. We didn't know if it was a light from the outside, a car, or what, but there was definitely something there, and I didn't feel alone, if you know what I mean. Obviously, I was sleeping next to Cassie, but still, there was someone else in the room than just the two of us, and I had to turn that light back on, within 30 minutes of doing that.
Yeah, basically, I had fallen asleep, but I remembered seeing those lights on the wall, and I'm like, that's kind of weird, but I didn't feel anything malevolent, so obviously, if it was a spirit, obviously they didn't mean us any harm. I was able to fall asleep. Adventure wasn't. He was a bit more freaked out than I was. But a couple minutes later, I wake up because I swear I hear him say, "I just saw something." Now, he doesn't remember saying that, but I distinctly remember hearing it, which is weird. I don't know if I dreamt it or not, but something in my self-conscious was like, "Babe, do you want to turn the light back on?" Something just told me to ask him, because he was trying to be the good boyfriend and keep the light off for me, knowing I sleep better in the dark. But I just had this feeling that we should turn that light back on.
So yeah, we have had some very odd disturbances. Now, this is not to say that our house is violently haunted. No. It's just we've got some Casper-like ghosts in our house that like to show themselves from time to time, mostly when there's something bad going on or something good going on. They're trying to congratulate us, or on the anniversaries of their death type thing, but nothing malevolent, evil, nasty, nothing like that. They're a farm family that have been living here since the 1850s, 60s, whatever, and they like it here, and they've decided to just live in the afterlife in the same area as we are, in a different dimension. It's an amazing experience, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. So there you go, guys. There is my spooky tale at the start of the spooky season, October 1st. If you like this, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. We'll be coming out with more spooky videos, obviously, every week for the entire spooky month of October. And we will have a special on Halloween night. So be looking forward to that. Is there anything else I'm forgetting?
I don't think so. I think you got it covered there.
All right. Thanks, guys, for joining us. And I will see you guys in the next video. And remember, as always, to stay spooky.